Yeah.
Right. There, I'll get all my screens.
Yeah, no worries. I'm going to
notes and stuff like that for next week.
Make sure I can watch that. There you go. That's just John on the couch. And
Steve added some artwork to your wall behind you.
yeah, I need to take some stuff down and start all over again. So I need a better. I need better stuff to stick on there. Also, I was using sticky tack. It didn't work too well.
I ran into a guy as a principal at a school that I worked at back in Arkansas who had a George W. Chalmers baseball card.
All right.
Yeah, like the 19 teens.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was like, dang. He had like a really huge baseball card collection.
Oh, nice. Did he show it all off?
Yeah, he invited me over because I actually played some summer ball with his son back in the day. So he was one of my catchers when I was in high school. So.
Cool. All right.
And I never got over there to see it. Apparently it was pretty extensive though.
I mean, gosh, I think the combined value of the cards behind me are worth maybe $1, maybe $2. We'll see.
There you go.
It was just kind of a stick a bunch of stuff up on the wall.
Yeah,
no, we're gonna redo it. I finally got myself a Red Sox top to go with my Yankees MLB London one, and I'm getting it framed.
Oh, nice.
So I can put that up there, and then
nice.
Maybe we'll fit back here. We'll find out.
I was so excited when the Cubs and Cardinals were coming over, and then freaking COVID canceled that one.
So yeah, it's a mixed message. We keep hearing that MLB owes us the game at London Stadium.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I think this also fits under one of those acts of God that they can get out of that contract in there.
Yeah.
Because it hadn't sold out, and that was the real shame about it. Because everyone learned really quick. Well, I'm not paying premium prices when I can wait to the day and pick tickets up cheap because it's not going to sell out.
Yeah, I mean, those tickets were astronomical though. Like, man, you had to be rich to go, which is a shame.
But everyone did the same thing. Everyone went and bought the 40-pound tickets and then just snacked their way to the nice seats because it was like, all right, all the scalpers had picked up everything, and they obviously couldn't sell them. So people went, oh great, I'll just pick it up and sit in the nice seats. Yeah. I mean, I was planning to do the same thing. Just wait until the game day and pick up something cheap because somebody wants to move it.
Yeah, I heard that like they might go into like mainland Europe before they come back to London. So
I could see him doing that. There's more of an audience over there. People would definitely go and see it. I mean,
I heard the Netherlands was building a MLB like capacity stadium.
I think they already have it. If you put everything in there, I think they have one that currently seats 16,000.
Okay.
So, but obviously you need like 32 to qualify or something like that. So I think if they brought in all the stands, it would be possible to do it. But I think it's one of those things when you double the size of the stadium and the infrastructure can't exactly handle it.
Yeah. Just add a bunch of scaffolding, it'll be fine.
So yeah, I think it's. I keep hearing Berlin, but I mean, who knows? It's all speculation at this point. So, but yeah, I think it'd be a good one to go to and be like, all right, let's go see another city and see how it goes.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I'm ready, guys. Whenever you are.
All right. Well, yeah, we're chatting away, kind of filling up the void till you're ready. So
yeah, let's get this started. Then. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ball Caps and Bagpipes. I am John McKellar of the Glasgow Comets.
I'm former president Jason Durr, and John likes to say Hall of Famer Jason Durr.
Yes, Baseball Scotland Hall of Famer.
Baseball Scotland Hall of Fame. No. I just say former manager is absolutely fine.
I got to brag a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're coming off the back of what's been a long time coming. Opening weekend finally arrived in the 2021 Baseball Scotland National League season. What a weekend it was. 3 very interesting and exciting games. Lots to talk about this week. And we're joined once again by Stephen Evans, who is the manager and star pitcher of Granite City Oilers. Why don't you say hello, Stephen?
Howdy.
Thanks so much for coming back on. So we're gonna we had you on obviously on Saturday's special edition of the show. It was a great panel. We had a lot of fun talking. We just got you on this time. We're going to talk about the Oilers' opening day win and preview the Oilers' game for this week, while also we're going to do a bit more of a deep dive into your baseball journey and tell your story, which is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this interview. And this is one that we've been wanting to do for quite some time. Jason,
looking forward to it.
I think we've been talking about this for like, what, a year and a half, John?
Yeah, I mean, at least, yeah.
Exactly. When the season starts, we'll have Steven on. He'll be coming out when the season starts.
When's the season going to start?
Yeah.
Well, it just started.
Now, I want to start up by saying that I made a little tiny bit of history on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
I drove in the first ever run in a developmental league, Glasgow Derby.
Hey.
The first inning, so I want to pat myself in the back about that.
There you go.
I told him, he needed to ask for the ball, and he said, no, I forgot all about it. So
come on, man, you gotta get the ball.
Exactly, you just gotta go pick up a ball from the ball bag and just go, that's fine, that's the one.
That's the one. I'll just grab any ball. This is going to be some vinyl ball that's been cut in half about 3 years ago. There's this one, I swear.
I hit it so hard that I cut the leather off.
Now, it was a great weekend of baseball, and we're going to quickly run over the scores on opening day. The first one I want to mention, and for my opinion, the big upset of the weekend, is the Edinburgh Devils and Edinburgh Cannons game. Now, Jason, did you make it along to that game and see any of it?
No, unfortunately, I did not. And the head coach, Sylvain, had to not make the game due to COVID restrictions because of his daughter. And they thought they weren't going to do that. So he missed the game completely. Apparently, it was well pitched by Kyle. And he pitched for 6 and shut him down. And that was enough to, I think the whole final score was 11-0.
12,
it was
I think.
12, right? Yeah. See, I blame Rory for that. Obviously, with him not playing and being out for the season, it would have been at least 12-1, maybe 2.
And Ren wasn't there either.
There you go. That's it. So no, unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it down. I'm gonna try to make it down for the games this weekend, but we'll see. So
excellent. Now, 12-0. I think the big upset of the weekend. Obviously, we had spoken with Rory. He was very confident. He had hyped some of his new arrivals in particular, and had heard nothing but good things from others. It looks like that they haven't had the chance to gel too much yet, and it looks like those experienced heads on the Devils, they clicked at the right time, and they've come through with a big win there.
Yeah, no, we'll find out more, see how the season goes, see what you guys were missing, see what the story is. But yes, we'll see how the season goes and get some more information from Murray.
Yeah, I was really surprised by that game because I think the Cannons had 2 of the 5 pitchers we used down in Slough, and so I was 12-0. I was like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw that result.
Yeah.
Another big result was the Comets result over the Galaxy. They won 3-2. It was a very close and well-played game. Now, I didn't play in that game. I played in the Development League game earlier that day. So I had the opportunity to kind of watch from the sidelines for the most part.
So you were umping first like I called?
No.
No, I said that. I called that you were going to ump first base, and it almost happened.
No. My umpiring days are behind me, Jason. Never do that again. It was an awful experience. It was a very close and very well played game from a defensive standpoint. It was 2-0 Galaxy for most of the game. I believe that they took the lead in the top of the second, scoring 2 runs off of David. But David went into kind of shutdown mode from then on. And while the Comets kept seeming to get closer and closer and closer to breaking through and getting on the board, it wasn't actually until the bottom of the 7th inning that the Comets rallied for 3 runs and won it with a walk-off walk with the bases loaded to John Nelson. So while you do expect him to come up in those situations, you certainly don't expect him to walk with the bases loaded. So it was quite an extraordinary result, and a big result for the Comets that I think we need to try and build on moving forward, because obviously the Galaxy have been the champions for 3 straight years. They showed on Sunday that they are still by far the best defensive team in the league, I think. And it's going to be very important to keep up that standard for them if they're going to continue to push to retain that title. There was one kind of pretty scary moment during the Comets and Galaxy game where Jim Seahart and their new centre fielder Miles Peterson, who you're both quite acquainted with, they collided on a play. It looks like neither of them were particularly badly hurt, but it sounded like a really sore one. Like me and a couple others on the bench at the Comets thought potentially that they had hit heads at first, because Jim was down for quite a bit, but Jim, being the tank that he is, he wants to walk it off and play the rest of the game as if nothing happened.
Probably hit a double as well too the next at bat. Probably didn't bother him one bit.
The guy's extraordinary.
Miles told me about that and said that his ankle was pretty swollen. So yeah.
Interesting.
Hate to hear that though.
Yeah, we want to keep an eye on then to see if either of them will be affected in the next few weeks by that collision. Also, John Nelson injured a groin running a ground ball. So the injury reports are pretty long one on that.
Yeah.
on that weekend, it was a good win for the Comets, but at what price, you have to think. Overall, quite proud of the guys, and that's a good solid 3-2 well played game of baseball. Which moves us on to our guest tonight, the Oilers and the Breakers. Obviously, Tayport Breakers, their very first ever Scottish baseball league game. It's been 2 years in the making. Jason West, the amount of work he's done has been absolutely fantastic. Massive props once again to Jason for all the work he's done. The Breakers weren't able to start off with a win, unfortunately, in the league campaign. Our guest tonight played spoiler, and his side, the Grand City Oilers, took a 7-1 victory on opening day. It looks like you guys put on a bit of a defensive masterclass of your own. I heard that you had 3 double plays that you pulled over 7 innings.
3 double plays and 1 to end the game as well. So that was pretty exciting. That's why I said Glasgow Galaxy are a defensive team in the league this year. I was like, we're going to give you a run for that money there,
Well, she's going to take us nicely on to next weekend, but we'll get to that at the end of the show. That's fantastic stuff, man. You guys obviously have worked hard on your infield, given I saw the video of you guys turning the play. It's one of those where it doesn't look like it's been a fluke. It's one of those that's straight off the training ground. So it was slick, very smooth, and to hold the Breakers to 1 run as well is great.
It was a great game. Like, honestly, it was 1-0 going into the 5th inning. So it was very close.
So talk to us about how you guys eventually ran out winners by 6. If you say it was 1-0 going into the 5th, how did you guys tweak anything in particular that you found took you over the edge, or was it just the picture was tiring? What was the script? What was the story?
No, actually, it was a really great game overall. Like you said, we just broke it open in the bottom of the 5th there. I actually was sitting that game because I had a arm injury from Slough. I'm out for a couple weeks. So spoiler alert, won't be pitching this weekend. So Lascabani was starting on the mound for us, and he threw 5 shutout innings, had 5 strikeouts. He got some runners on base, but didn't let them score, and that was really, really great to see from a coach's perspective. Him, knowing where he started off in the league to that, getting to that point and getting his first win was just phenomenal to see. But I think what it was, the Breakers, Marina pitched for him I think she threw 5 complete innings. And I mean, she was on fire those first 4 innings, and we didn't really get a lot of base runners in. And I think it was just that second and third time through the lineup for us that we started, getting the timing down and start, shaking off that rust, so to speak, and started putting the ball in play more and capitalizing on well-timed hits and runs and stuff like that. So we scored, I think it was 5 in the bottom of the 5th and then 1 in the 6th, and that was the final score, 7-1 for us.
Excellent, man. Very well done to you and the guys.
Thank you.
You mentioned that Las Kobani pitched the game, and he pitched 5 innings, striking out 5. Now, you mentioned he allowed quite a few base runners. What I have noticed, particularly this weekend, and more, and to an extent, and even in the 2019 season, Jason, is that, you know, this league, there seems to be a hell of a lot more pitchers in this league that are the way that you used to pitch, where you would pitch to contact. Whereas when I was first starting out in this league, you were pretty much the only pitcher that did that. A lot of them were trying to strike guys out, and it was either strike out, walk, or, you know, someone would get a hit. Would you say that that's a bit accurate?
I think you have guys who can throw the ball harder than 50 miles per hour.
yeah, I guess what I'm really saying is, to put it in different terms, is the quality of pitching overall is better now than it was 8-9 years ago when I first started, by quite a considerable distance. You know, even with some of the guys who've come and went, you've got Sam, you've got Luke, Stephen. You were here, but then you went away for a couple of years.
Yeah,
a lot of the quality that's even left. The guys who are still here, like, the overall quality of pitching in this league is still far, far superior than it was 5-10 years ago, and it's amazing, I think, to look at that and look at the strides that Baseball Scotland has taken in terms of developing pitchers. And
I think that's exactly what it is. I think what it is you actually have people sticking around, where it was, you know, originally just me and and then whoever else would be on that way, and so you actually have people that are there that can pass along knowledge to other people. They can pick it up, they can actually work with it. Whereas before it was, you know, to save myself, it was like, okay, so I could try to teach people to pitch, but then I got to run batting practice at the same time and fielding practice at the same time. Now there's enough quality players at every position, you know, not just pitcher, and that you can kind of go, okay, great, you guys can run training, I can go work with the guy. And I think you're seeing that, you know, feed into the rest of the teams now.
I would completely agree with that. There's just more depth overall, and the quality has certainly gone up over the last 6, 7, 8 years. So
yeah, I mean, just look at the score lines. 12-0 being the biggest gap. You know,
which was a shocker.
You know, you were previously looking at 20-12 and 18-11 score lines.
I remember a game from like I think it was like 2014 or something like that, or I think it was 2014. I think we were playing the Comets, and I mean the final score was like 18-16. It was just, what? I never played, and like that was the only game that year that was like that either. It was just like, what's going on?
Yeah,
pitching, there was no depth. So
yeah, I mean, I think as well that the new development league idea helps in that regard, because you now have a situation where a guy who wants to learn how to pitch, or a girl who wants to learn how to pitch, doesn't need to do it on the job, so to speak.
Yeah.
They have now the development game to try and mold people into being pitchers. I mean, in the development game I played on Sunday, Fiona Bromley of the Glasgow Galaxy pitched the first inning, and then the second inning was pitched by Chris Young.
Nice.
Who've played in various different places and have obviously fancied giving pitching a go. Both of them gave a really good account of themselves, and I was really happy for them both that they got on the mound for a game. It takes a lot, I think, to make that first stride into pitching. It's a daunting task to be the one with the ball in your hand. You know, even I think for someone who's had the experience, one slip up can mean, you know, a disaster of a game when it comes to being on the mound. So for anybody to go up there and pitch the way that they did, and as well as they did with as little experience, I think was just fantastic. So I think the Development League is a great idea. We'll talk a bit more about the Development League and some of the rules that have been developed in the league around that toward the end of the show, Jason. But let's move on.
Before we move on, we've got a comment from a viewer. We are live. So I just wanted to mention that Paul Convoy has said that the quality of pitching is a big credit to guys like Steven, Luke, and Sam, who not only pitch to a high standard, but also coach younger guys to a high level too. And they put a lot of time and effort to elevate the standard of the league at the game. So yeah, you know, it just absolutely echoes what we've been saying here. So, you know, thanks for saying that, Paul.
Absolutely, and I completely agree, Paul. You know, we've talked, you know, quite a bit in the past with regard to Luke in particular about how much he elevated people around him, and I think that what you're seeing in people like Fiona and Chris and the confidence that they've had to go out there and take that first step towards pitching in games comes from Luke and the kind of culture that he built around the Galaxy. We had Robert on the mound, who has pitched previously, so I think we were different in that sense, that it wasn't a complete newcomer that we had on the mound.
He's a lefty, right?
He is
Robert?
a lefty.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, he's got quite a good arm on him, but just doesn't pitch all that often. So he's still kind of developing that side of his game. He pitched pretty well in the development game, but yeah, overall, standard of pitching in the league has gone up so much. Standard of fielding in the league has gone up so much. And when you consider the state of some of the fields in Scotland, I think
for sure.
That in itself is just a testament to how good the coaching has become now, and the fact that there's the structure, I think, of the league allows more for, the time and the attention that people need to develop in different areas. And I just think that this opening day, these results, the quality of the baseball we've seen over the weekend, is just drives home exactly why we were looking so much forward to it, Jason. What a weekend of baseball.
Yep. As I said, looking forward to catching the game, maybe even this weekend, right, John?
Well, let's see. Let's move on before we talk about this weekend to our guest tonight, Stephen. We've discussed your guys' result, and obviously you talked about your off-season on Saturday when you were previously on the show. Tonight it's about you. So we always like to start our interviews with players and coaches with pretty much the same question, and that's just where did you come from? How did you become involved in baseball? Obviously, you're from the States. How long have you been playing it? What level did you play to back home?
So originally from Fort Smith, Arkansas, where grew up, played high school baseball. I was a 2-year varsity letterman my high school. Actually made varsity the first time I made varsity was actually for my infielding, not pitching. I was a third baseman. And then more my senior year, I was more of a starting pitcher role. Played American Legion baseball, which is the higher equivalent level for summer league back in Arkansas. And then after my freshman year of college, I actually tore the UCL ligament in my arm. I didn't have to have Tommy John. It was a partial tear, but I had to sit out the same amount of time as having the surgery. So I missed my entire freshman year of college for baseball. Came back from that, played one.
Where'd you go play college ball at? You skipped the part. I went to play college ball somewhere.
Yeah, so I wanted to play ball, but I had to go little bit different route than right out of high school. So that next summer, after I hurt the elbow, I played one last year of American Legion, which got me back in shape, and I walked on to the University of Arkansas Monticello, which is a Division II school, and I was the only walk-on to make the team, and that was one of the greatest feelings in the world, knowing that I made the cut. And I was getting starting positions over juniors and seniors as a pitcher, and everything just seemed to be clicking. And then the grades kicked in, and wasn't the best student, so became academically ineligible. So stay in school, kids. Joined the Navy, and I made the U.S. Military All-Star team, where I played 2 tours with them. They were a semi-professional team. We played summer collegiate league teams, independent minor league teams, and we just toured the country, just playing baseball, having a blast. And after my second tour, it was on my second tour that I actually hurt my shoulder, which effectively ended my competitive playing career. But that's when I really got into coaching, and I got with one of the Master Chiefs in the Navy that I worked with, gave his son pitching lessons. And then I proceeded to start coaching their summer league team. We qualified for 2 World Series during my last 2 years in the Navy. And then I decided to move abroad, go to school in Aberdeen. And I got in touch with Jason and talked about baseball Scotland and wanting to play and forming a team in Aberdeen. And he told me about Miles Peterson, who was also going to be attending the University of Aberdeen. He and I got in touch, and we kicked off the Oilers in September of 2013, playing our first friendly in Edinburgh with 8 people. And had to borrow.
We still have pictures from that. They're still posted.
Nice. Yeah, that was a blast, man. I mean, that was my first experience with baseball in Europe, and it was a huge success in my opinion. We grew it from 8 people that's September to I think it was like 15, 16 the next summer, and then just kept growing ever since then. And at the height before COVID, we were at around 40 club members. We had 2 teams. I'd started the university program at the University of Aberdeen, which was also at 2 teams in 2019, the year after I left the UK. So I had to leave in September of 2018. My visa ran out, and went back to the US, coached at my local high school for a couple of years, and applied for the sports management program here at the University of Stirling. And now I'm doing a master's in sport management. And I'm back. And I was just recently appointed to the newly formed GB women's baseball team as their hitting coach. So
fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of accomplishments there. You're just your first year back.
Yeah.
There's a lot to pick at there. Thank you so very much for that history. I want to touch on your time in the Navy. You are a veteran, obviously, of the Navy, like you said. Now, there's throughout baseball history, there are so many, like Ted Williams would be the obvious, who are military men who take that military aspect of their life and apply it to the game. Would you say that that's something you did? And how did your military training and the discipline that you would have learned in the military help you as maybe not even so much as a player, but particularly in coaching and how you approach coaching players? How did that inform your style of play and your style of coaching?
Yeah, it influenced it a lot, actually. Before the military, I think I was a fairly confident person, but as far as managing personnel and organizations and stuff like that, I wasn't there. And the military really honed that in, gave me that leadership ability, time management, organizational skills and stuff like that, gave me the confidence to really step into that role and be a better coach and use some of those techniques of managing personnel and organizations to really build a program here that I'm really proud of. So
brilliant. And I want to also touch on your other career, which was substitute teaching. You used to be a substitute teacher back home, I believe. Did you apply baseball and did your coaching as a baseball guy, was that in any way an influence on how you taught?
So I did do substitute teaching for the first year that I was back, and then the last year and a half, I actually got a full-time position as a media clerk. So I was working actually in the library full-time. But yeah, certainly I took a lot of that coaching and military into the classroom with me, and I think it really helped. Give structure and discipline to some of the kids, and helped me be able to relate to a wide variety of people and backgrounds. So I'm very thankful for that.
And you also used to sell eggs, am I right in saying?
Yes.
What kind of research have you been doing? Yeah, you used to sell eggs.
I'm telling you,
the research, man. Wow.
Stephen will tell you this is true. I'm not making this up.
No. So my little girl, she turns 8 in July. We were at the farm goods store back home, just killing time, and they had chicks that day. And we went to look at them, and she's like, I want some chicks. I was like, let's do it. So got some chickens, started off with 6, and that eventually grew to 31 chickens. And I had a little egg business on the side. So I'd sell free range farm fresh eggs to my neighbors and my colleagues at school and stuff. So it was good. I mean, it was fun. I didn't make a whole lot of money on it, but I definitely made my money back on what I spent on them, which is more than enough for me, because it was fun for me, and it was a good life lesson for my little girl. So teaching her to take care of animals and some responsibility. So that was You really did your research, man.
All I want to say is, did the chickens have large talons? Because
the roosters do. Yeah. Oh man, I had it. So I got some chickens one time that were in the straight run category. So you can buy them in 3 different categories. You can get pullets, which are baby females. You can get straight run, which are your guess at what they are, or you can buy roosters, or and I got some straight run one time because that was the only bin that they had the breed that I wanted, and I got a couple of roos out of that, and man, we had some knock them out, drag them out fights one time in the backyard. They tried to come at me, and I had to put them on his back, and I was like, nah, this ain't happening. It's like you're gonna be dinner soon if you keep that up.
Let's get back to baseball and off chickens then, Stephen.
Come on, you don't even want to know if he ran an illegal cock ring or not. Come on.
Listen,
but I tell you, I was on a drive one time going through the back roads of Oklahoma, because I live right on the Oklahoma border, and I came across this property that had probably like 50, 60, like 55-gallon blue drums that had like a hole cut in them with roosters chained to them. And apparently like it was a thing, and like they were all roosters. Like, that's cockfighting. They're training those bad boys.
So funny enough, there is a former player who does do that, the Dominican.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
He posts live videos of it there, so I won't mention who it is. But
wow,
yeah, I didn't. I think he moved back there, and he posts live videos, and he goes as Mr. Escose or whatever it is Escose in Spanish. So he's got kilt on and everything. He holds his rooster up. Anyways, well,
that's awesome.
We're going off topic here. This is not baseball related at all.
He's saying these fucking cock rings, honestly.
Come on, I gotta bring up Napoleon Dynamite. We talk about cock rings. This is why the show does so well.
Yes.
You're the one that did the research. I was gonna ask what the Navy, but you went about, oh, you raise chickens. All right, here we go.
I thought I would just drop that one on, Jason. Let's get back to baseball though. So let's go back to growing up. What are your favourite accomplishments or memories from your time growing up and the various levels that you played at?
Best memories, man. I had a lot. Like, I mean, I've played baseball since I was 4, so like there's not a summer in my mind that I wasn't playing baseball. Had some really good times. So when I was 16, I played in the Senior Babe Ruth World Series. That was a really awesome experience. Played in front of like 5,000 people. It was on ESPN, and I was just an amazing experience. And I started the opening ceremony game against the hometown team and got player of the game. Got our only hit that game, that scored the only run, and we won 1-0. And that was a really fascinating experience. In high school, I also made the all tournament team my senior year, and then capped it off that senior year beating the crosstown rivals on senior night. And I was on the mound and just had a little extra in the tank, reaching back and throwing some gas, or what I thought was gas at the time. So then in the military, had a really cool experience playing in I think it was, I can't remember what anniversary of the Midnight Sun game, but every year in Fairbanks, Alaska, they have the Midnight Sun game on the summer solstice, June 21st. And the game starts at 10 p.m. and goes overnight. And that year, the last territorial governor of Alaska threw out the ceremonial pitch at midnight. And the cool thing about this game is they use no artificial lighting. And our game went 15 innings. It was the longest in Midnight Sun game history. And I mean, it was just crazy. We played from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Sun never really went down. It just dipped below a mountain a little bit. And then when it came back out about like 3:30, 3:45, that's when we started hitting the ball again. And that's we went up 2-1 in the top of the 15th, and they went up 3-2 in the bottom of the 15th, and that was that. But I'd say that's pretty cool. And then I have to bring it up. I'm not sore about it or anything, but my .375 ERA in 2018 that I didn't get the Cy Young Award for, but whatever. Not sore at all.
Hey, we don't vote for these things. We're just the announcers. We don't know anything about this.
88 strikeouts, 48 innings pitched, .375 ERA. No.
Now, in Major League Baseball, it's the sports journalists that vote for these awards, so it should be you and me, Jason, that are deciding all these. The Baseball Scotland, the Baseball Writers Association of Scotland.
Yeah, the British Baseball Writers Association. We're on the BBW, right? Okay.
We would be the BJs, the Baseball Journalists Association of Scotland.
There we go.
Incidentally, Paul Convoy has commented, this is why it's an 9 p.m. start, right? Absolutely. Tayport Baseball Club has commented single A and triple A chickens. And we've got another comment from Mark Joss, who says, lovely comment here. I started playing for Aberdeen in 2018. Since then, the club has doubled in members, and Stephen is a big reason for that. He is very hands-on and gets stuck in, whether it be fundraising for the club or repairing the field. At training, Stephen takes his time regardless of your talent on the field to go over any tips he can to help you out with. He's an all-round top guy.
Thanks, Mark.
Stephen?
Can't wait to have you back at training, bud.
How much did you slip Mark 20 quid for that? I mean, that's the real question. He said it twice now. Not just once. I seen it twice in there.
Hey, I actually haven't seen him in a couple weeks. He's been offshore working, so he said it on his own free will.
It looks like Mark's getting some separation anxiety there. You better get back to training.
If I see Miles comment the exact same thing, we know it's
Miles,
someone's going to forget the name. It'll just be insert name here, and then.
Cool. So I'm really curious about your time with playing baseball at Navy. So how did it work? Were you guys, where were you stationed at? Were there fields for you to do? I mean, I played at Menwith Hill, so I know there's obviously activities there, but this is abroad when you're kind of in your own enclosed area. So how did it work when you were playing for Navy?
Yeah, so fortunate for me, I was stationed in San Diego, and that's where a majority of the team was out of. That's like where the coach was and everything. I mean, we had guys who were TAD or temporary assigned duty to the team who would come there and like live on base and play. But like I was stationed in San Diego, so I didn't have to go far away from anything to play. But yeah, we just, so I came home. So I tried out for the team in April of 2010 when I first got to San Diego. My ship was currently on a home port change. That was right after the earthquake in Haiti, and they were helping out with that. And then they were coming around the Horn, South America, to change from Virginia to San Diego. So just kind of perfect timing for me to make the team. And then we went on our first tour around the country, starting in, I think it was April. I think they left in April, but I didn't get to join them till my ship got there in June. And I got to actually meet my chain of command, and I had to go before the captain. It was a really long, drawn out process for me to make that first jump onto the team from my chain of command. Cause it wasn't like, hey, I made it, I get to go. It's like, hey, you made it, now see if they'll let you go. And fortunate for me, my chain of command let me go. They were very reluctant, but the only no that matters on a request sheet is the captain's. And the captain said yes. And I was like, thank you, sir. And and so I went for a couple months. The condition was, since I was so new, that when we were going back out to sea, I had to report back to get my training and qualifications and stuff like that. So my first tour was only I think it was about 2 months with them, but it was really great. I mean, I flew into Philadelphia, met up with the team. We played at my first start with the military team. My first appearance was with the Southern Maryland. We were playing against the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. And I went in like the third inning. They were beating us up 7-0 going to that third inning. We were on I was our third pitcher, and I threw up a goose egg on the scoreboard. That was awesome. Struck out my last guy, fastball low and away looking. Never forget that. First start was at the Camden River Sharks, who are no longer there, and the stadium's no longer there, but the backdrop was the Ben Franklin Bridge into Philadelphia. And that was, dude, it looked like a freaking castle in the outfield. And I was like, I hope I give a bomb off the castle, But yeah, no, it was just really good. And then went on my first deployment, came back from deployment in June that year, met up with the team, and I was with the team from June until September that season. And I just traveled the entire country, and I got to drive my own car on the trip because we had a bus and we had an RV, and at one point our team bus lost AC, and we were driving around the South in the summer, and that was we got to Arkansas, and I was like, hey, we were in Tennessee, and I was like, hey, Mom, can you drive my car over to Memphis? And the coach actually worked out a deal where I got to drive my own car, and took 3 guys with me in my car, and alleviated some from the RV and the bus, and put 11,000 miles on my car that summer. But
that's
good times.
Going.
Yeah. I mean, we played all up and down the Eastern Seaboard. I mean, I played Newark, New York, upstate New York. We did a gig in north of Minneapolis. We went to Omaha. That was a very awesome experience. That was I think that was one of my first experiences that summer with the team. We did pregame ceremony at Rosenblatt in 2011, I think it was. It was for the UCLA TCU game, and I think Trevor Bauer was on that UCLA team, and that was really cool. I was really hungover for that. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching. I was. That night out in Kansas City was rough.
You'll be getting the salad treatment at dinner next time you see your mum.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Aberdeen baseball. We've covered a wee bit about how you founded the team. Why don't you talk to us about the challenges you faced initially when you were putting that club together? You mentioned obviously that you worked with Miles quite closely.
Yeah.
Talk us through the process of creating the Aberdeen, the Granite City Oilers in a bit more detail.
Okay. Yeah. Challenge is an understatement for starting a new team. Jason, I'm sure you're well aware of that. Because there's literally no funding right now for us. We're all self-funded. So I think the hardest part was getting the group of guys together, fielding a full team, and then finding us a place to play. We bounced around. I know Edinburgh's bounced around. I don't know about Glasgow, but we bounced around a couple spots that first year. Played at Hazelhead Park. I think that was Jason's favorite place, with the mud, and out there it rained and you're up to your ankles in mud.
That was where the American football team played, right?
Yeah.
That was such a weird field, man.
Yeah, it was. They literally let us just play on a soccer field or football pitch, and I thought it would have been like a great location for the club because the American sports are right there. They had changing rooms. There was ample parking, but that ground was just not nice for baseball. I got bogged up real quick. And then we eventually got permission in, I think it was 2016. We just moved down to the beach area, and we're just playing on that open field, and we finally got permission to call that home and put in permanent bases and a permanent mound and home plate area, and it's been home ever since. But other than finding the field, sourcing kit, equipment, jerseys, all that, hats, has been a real struggle finding a consistent supplier for everything. And we're fortunate now that we've got to a point where that stuff is a thing of the past. We have consistent suppliers for uniforms, for hats, baseballs, baseball equipment. Suppliers have really grown over the last 5 to 10 years in the UK. Brexit kind of screwed up a couple of those, but it's been a challenge for sure. But we're certainly now in a better spot than where we were when I first started the team back in 2013. And I think anybody starting a team up now is still going to be a challenge, but there's more resources for them to do so.
So Mother is not surprised.
Love you, Mom. You're the best. Tell Dad I said hi.
Yeah, she immediately commented, and I'm supposed to be surprised. Pretty much right away. So I don't think we're fooling anyone, Stephen.
Okay, well, so the reason it was such a rough night is we there was a little bar across from our hotel that night, and being in the military, we're like, yeah, we like a drink, and we went in there just for a casual couple pints and everything. Turns out there was this girl in there, and it was her 21st birthday, and like 21st birthday in the States, like we go hard, and us being in the military, we partied with them.
Of course. You need some people to help them out there, of course.
Yeah. Oh man, good times. Yeah.
Amazing. Now, as we've covered, you had to leave the country a couple of years later. Talk to us quickly about how that felt to leave, obviously, this club that you built from the ground up, along with a couple of other guys, and the efforts that you had put in. You guys were starting to go from strength to strength to strength. And then I think at one point you guys ended up having to leave the league around the time that you left. Obviously now Granite City Oilers are back. Long term, we've got 2 Aberdeen teams now with the Express. Obviously, with this condensed, truncated season and the uncertainty about things, there's been some clubs that have had to drop out. One of them, unfortunately, being the Express. But talk to us about leaving and then the feeling of coming back, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah. So I was on a student visa, and I finished my degree, and I had so many months to find employment that could sponsor another visa. And I did a history undergraduate's degree, and there just really wasn't anything for me at the entry level that met the income requirements and stuff like that. So got a letter from Home Office saying that you have to leave the country by the 7th of September. And I stayed here as long as I could. I literally left the 5th of September. And I made one last game. I think we had a game on the 4th, and I left the 5th. And that year was a great year for the club. We were duking it out with Glasgow Comet or Galaxy for top the league there. I'm confident in saying this, that they never actually beat us, even though we did lose one game. We threw a no-hitter that game, and they beat us 3-2. Riddle me that. Throw a no-hitter. And yeah, we walked in. So starting pitcher for us walked in 3 runs in the first inning. I put in a new pitcher. He didn't record an out. Put in a new pitch, put in Fred, and he threw shutout innings after that. And we only managed to get together 2 runs and lost 3-2. So we beat ourselves that game. But yeah, no, it was a great season. Really, really proud of the club that year. And then at the end of that season, that's when we voted to go to break into 2 teams, because we were at the point where we had too many people just have one team. And we're actually getting back to that point. So we will have a second team next year if this holds. We are losing a couple guys at the end of this season, couple crucial guys, but the numbers will dictate, if we hold this number, that we will have 2 teams again next season. So that was just really tough having to leave at that point, because I didn't get to play the postseason either. And even though Galaxy wound up taking the regular season, had I been able to stay, I felt like we could have made a run in the postseason, especially the format that we were given, that I think it really benefited us. We had that 1-2 punch at pitcher, and we just, when we were on, no one was touching us. So it's tough to leave during that time frame. And but 2.5 years later, I'm back. I'm back, baby.
How did it feel to step back on the field again as an Oiler, knowing that you had to leave, and there was by no means ever any certainty that you would be back? Talk to us about that feeling.
Yeah, no, it was definitely emotional. Because back home I don't get the chance to play baseball. The only opportunity for me is coaching or playing that drinking league softball, which can be fun, but it's not baseball. So that uncertainty, am I going to be able to play it ever again? Definitely hit me in that last game. I still remember walking off the mound that last time and thinking maybe this is it. But just held my head high because I'd done the best I could and gave it my all and had nothing to regret at all. So definitely look back with fond memories on that.
Amazing. Now, one last question from me. You mentioned Federico Gambadotti. Now, we had him on the show previously. I think was it way back in season 1 that we had him on the show, Jason? Or was it
the Italian Stallion?
I think it was season 1.
Probably season 1, because I think we had somebody from Aberdeen.
Now, Federico mentioned that you guys roomed together for a bit, and we obviously asked him what kind of roommate was Stephen. So I think it's only fair that we give you the opportunity to
this is a good one to end on.
What kind of
what do you say about me?
What kind of a roommate was Federico? He had nothing but pleasant things to say about you. A lot of baseball talk was basically what we came away from him. And that you guys basically lived and breathed the game during the time you spent together.
Yeah, no. So I originally lived with Miles, and then Miles finished before me, and then Fred moved in with me. So went from baseball to baseball. And Fred still lives in the same flat that I lived in. So it's always nice to go visit Fred because it's like, hey, I recognize this place. But no, yeah, he was great. I mean, talked baseball. We watched baseball. He was a really nice guy to live with. Fred's a great guy. Love that guy. Couldn't ask for a better roommate, really. So he was cleanly. That was that's
the big thing, guys.
Yeah. So.
No,
I didn't get a whole lot of authentic Italian cooked food, but I mean, I'll take my
mama's for. It's saying you don't cook it, your mama cooks it. Come on now. Yeah. You gotta get invited back to his place to get the family thing.
Yeah.
Now, Paul Convoy has commented the Home Office is a bit of a nemesis to Scottish baseball. I mean, how many teams have those bastards dismantled just with
right?
General rules and regulations? Why do they use them? We should have like some kind of exemption status.
I mean, it's frustrating, that's for sure. It's like, come on, man, like I'm not doing any harm here. Like I'm not to drag on the system.
I mean, bureaucracy and red tape. It's the UK's middle name, isn't it? But thank you so very much for joining us, Stephen. We'll have to have you back on. We'll certainly chat with you periodically across the season. Stick with us. We're going to preview this weekend, and we'll get your thoughts on your upcoming game. Jason, the weekend coming up, we'll talk about the different matchups. We've got Comets at Cannons, so our first visit out to Edinburgh. I'm hoping to bump into you there. It's going to be good to play over there. As I've mentioned before, I think on Matt's podcast, the British Baseball Podcast, I've historically hit really well in Edinburgh for some reason. It's the only place in Scotland that I do hit really well in, except when I faced you, of course, you bastard.
No pressure. You just put yourself a lot of pressure on yourself now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be playing primarily development games this year, so I'm not feeling too much pressure at all. I'm working very much on becoming a full-time first baseman. I'll play a wee bit of corner outfield as and when Jason needs me to, but for me, I'm primarily a development player moving forward, and gives me a chance to learn my new position, which I feel like I'm doing pretty well. I'm learning every week. I'm learning something different, and John Nelson, I think, is going to be really key and very handy for me to have. I've got John Nelson, and obviously Jason Stotts is a Gold Glove first baseman in the club. So I just want to focus on development games, and also that allows me the chance to try and get some more confidence up at the plate again after not playing much the last few years. So yeah. But yeah, Comets at Cannons. The keys, I think, to the game for the Comets will be Albert. Is Albert coming back? And will John Nelson be healthy?
It could be a tough one. That means actually getting Albert in a car to make it the game in time.
Yeah. Just keep away from fucking McDonald's.
There's a good chance he can have a night out in Edinburgh and make the game on time. Yeah. But that will be the key for you guys there.
He did that. We played in that tournament in Belfast, and he went on a night out in Belfast. Didn't go to bed at all.
Yeah.
Showed him the field with a beer, ready to go, and he was pitching game one.
Yeah. So, did he not miss or almost miss his taxi somewhere as well?
Yeah. Oh man, I think he showed up at game time.
Typical.
Not when we told him to be there at game time.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get Albert on, I think, at some point, and we will need to grill him about some of his exploits in Belfast. But yeah, I think if Albert comes back, we could potentially, be looking really good this weekend. We looked pretty good this past weekend anyway, without Albert in the team. But I think Albert's such a key part of how we play baseball. He's a shortstop. He's a pitcher. He's a leadoff guy. He can bat third. He's just so versatile and so impactful when he's on the field that it's always better to have him in the team.
He's a good guy to have around.
Indeed, yeah. And he's a great teammate. He's a good laugh.
He's good. Yeah, good laugh. I love that guy.
The Edinburgh Diamond Devils are in Tayport for their first road game of the season there at the Breakers. Now this will be a chance for them to really nail and show that they're really going to be for real this year. They've shocked, I think, all three of us on the show here with the 12-0 victory over the Cannons. I think Cannons went into that game as the favourites, and they got slapped by the Devils at 12-0. So it's a big win. Can they keep that momentum going? We've covered it before. They've got a lot of players who are quite older. So they're much more experienced, but also obviously age does factor in over the course of a long season. It's going to be interesting week to week to watch the Devils and see if they can maintain that level of form. And also, the Breakers,
to see if Davey Farr stops Kyle and checks his pockets before the game or not. I think that might be the deciding factor on how well that game goes.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if Kyle can repeat the performance he had opening day.
You never know. Like I said, maybe something's changed. And like I said, I'm not going to short. Like I said, we all know Kyle well, and maybe his head's screwed on this season. So there's fingers crossed.
Maybe COVID was a wake-up call or something.
So, yeah, your mother is proud of you. Proud of my sons, really. And Tayport Baseball Club's commented, will not mention how that game went in Belfast. We'll get Albert on to tell the story himself. He can.
Oh man, it was interesting. We'll leave it at that. It was interesting.
Yeah, he can run up to it himself when he's on the show eventually. Yeah, but the Tayport Breakers, I think they're going to be chomping at the bit for that first win. I think, and
if their first home game.
Yeah,
indeed, yeah, it's going to be great to keep an eye on how the goings on there, and see if they can ride that home field advantage, ride the momentum and the sense of the occasion and get that first win on the board. And last but not least, the Aberdeen Oilers, the Granite City Oilers, are visiting the Glasgow Galaxy this Sunday. Will the Galaxy be able to recover from this past Sunday? Can they turn it on in a way that they weren't able to finish off the Comets on Sunday? Or will the vaunted infield defence of the Oilers prove to be unbeatable? We'll have to wait and see. Stephen, give us a preview of this Sunday's game. What are you expecting to see from the Oilers? Do you have any particular adjustments in mind that you're looking at?
I'm fully expecting this to be another defensive battle. Like you said earlier, Galaxy are still a very solid defensive team. And I think we're really solid defensively as well. I sadly won't be pitching that game. Lass will be back on the mound for us, but he's drastically improved as a pitcher. So I think it'll be a really, really good game, and it'll just depend on who can get the hits to score some runs. That'll determine it. I think it'll be a low scoring affair as well. So really looking forward to that challenge.
If you're not pitching, are you playing?
I'm going to try and hit. So like when I was down in Slough, I tweaked something in my forearm. The doc thinks it's just some strained muscles in my forearm. But on Saturday, it was pretty excruciating pain. I was trying to hide the pain I was in on that last phone call we were with. I don't know if y'all noticed me wincing at all, but I was in some pain. But yeah, no, it's feeling much better. But so if it's feeling better, I'm going to try and at least hit. But I won't be playing the field at all. So. Yeah, which I'm fine with, because I wouldn't want to take a spot away on the defensive side of the ball from anybody that's going to be out there. So very confident in our defense.
I didn't know if your managerial style was more Connie Mack or you go Bill Belichick. So, if you're going to full suit or the hoodie. So,
Can I have a suit hoodie?
Oh yeah, they have those things.
Now, when I coached basketball at the university, I would go in a full suit when I was coaching a game that I wasn't playing in. I would suit it up. I was like, I look good.
The clipboard. I got it. The clipboard is important.
Break it over my knee. Ah!
Big Nelson broke a bat over his knee again at the weekend.
Did he? Oh, man. Did we get it on film?
No, unfortunately not. I love it when he does things like that.
How do you start filming your games, man? I want to see that.
He makes
because we're next to a prison. Someone might nick the camera if you don't look around.
Yeah, he makes like extraordinary feats look normal. It's just crazy when you look at the guy in Man Mountain.
I'm looking forward to seeing him again now. I've missed him.
Yeah. When Nelson hurt his groin, obviously he was on the ground and I was trying to help him up, and I almost tore my groin just helping the guy off the stick. The guy's just a tree. He's an absolute anomaly. I love the guy, and it's so great to have him back. And I hope he's going to be healthy for Sunday. Yeah. Stephen, you mentioned that you're going to be DHing this week, which allows us to very neatly transition into the last part of the show tonight. A wee bit about the rules this season. Obviously, things are slightly different. The development game starts at 12, ends at 1, or goes 3 innings, whichever comes first. Development League, as we've covered already, has already had an impact, I think, on the style of play here. You're seeing the best players and the best in each position on each team. You're seeing much better defensive play. You're seeing better pitching overall. You're going to see, I think, better offense and better at bats as the season goes along and people start to get into a bit of a zone.
Yeah.
7-inning baseball games is something that I know that Jason and I have historically kind of decried and not been big fans of, but I really think that I would have to say that I was proven wrong on that regard. I think the 7-inning game for Scottish baseball is overall a net positive. I think it helps the games flow better. It means that we're not, because there have been so many times when you've been at these slugfest games that have like a 35-26 score, and it's not fun. Eventually, it gets to be quite a slog, especially when it's raining or it's too hot. So I think these 7-inning games are a perfect kind of compromise in a medium that allows for high-scoring games, but also curtails it enough that we're going to be able to have fun every time that we're at the ballpark, and we're going to see actual baseball played rather than some of the madness that's happened over the course of previous seasons. I mean, it's the Mercy rule apparently has now changed from the 10 lead in the 7th to a 15 run after 5. So again, that's another rule that's been implemented that kind of curtails the possibility of these absolutely outlandish scorelines. I think that overall these are really good moves. Designated hitter, a 10th, you can have an optional 10th batter to DH. I think that while I wasn't keen on it, again, that's another one that when I first saw, I was like, it's not. Because Jason Dale and I, we're both traditionalists. Anyone who's listened to the podcast more than once knows this. We're both kind of old school curmudgeons when it comes to baseball. But I think anything that gives people a chance to play more innings, get more experience, develop more, can only be good for the league in the long run. And I think that as this development league idea grows into something that's more structured and more like the National League, we're going to start to see, obviously, we've talked about the single A, double A, single A, triple A levels. I think there's really exciting things on the horizon for Baseball Scotland, and props to the committee that came up with the rules. Obviously, you've got the league president, Paul Convoy, who's sort of been the glue that's kept this whole thing together during the pandemic and everything being off. So I just want to finish up by mentioning those rules and mentioning just how fantastic I thought the first weekend was. I think baseball in Scotland has been made better for the changes that have been made, and I hope they're here to stay.
Oh yeah, 100%. And kind of like y'all, like you said, like y'all are traditionalists about the game, and so am I to a certain extent. But I really do like the format of the 7-inning games now for us. I just think it brings in more competitive baseball for our league. You know, you look at in the States, and like high school varsity games are only 7-inning games. You know, they're not 9-inning. The only time you get into 9-inning games are either in like maybe a tournament at the high school level or once you're in college. And I would argue that the level of play over here, even down in England, like AAA level, that's high school varsity, you know, to a certain extent. So I just think I think it brings that competitive nature back to it. They're not going to have huge slugfest scores like we used to. You might have some, like, you know, the Devils this weekend, 12-0. That was a bit of a shocker, but they're not going to be the norm anymore. Really like the development game, which I have been referring to my club as single A, just because I really want us to trend towards getting that definition on single A, triple A, double A, whatever it may be. But yeah, the 3-inning format. I wish we could go a little bit longer on that, but right now I think it's perfect while we're still trying to develop pitching, and just it gives us a chance to get players more game time. And as far as the extra hitter is concerned, that actually really helps my club out because of the fact that I had 3 starters on the bench this weekend, but I was able to give one of those starters an extra hitter role, you know, so it was very beneficial that I was able to give someone who would have normally been sitting at least something to contribute to the game until I could get them into the game, into the field and stuff like that. So yeah, really, really happy with the rules change, and credit Baseball Scotland Committee, Paul Convoy, and everyone on that voted to make the change. And I think we're seeing, it's early on, but I think we're seeing the benefits of making that change. So,
yeah, absolutely. Let's wrap it up there, boys. Thank you so very much for jumping back on with us, Stephen. All the best for your continued recovery from the sore arm. I hope to see you on the mound again soon.
Oh, yeah.
I don't recall ever actually facing you in an at-bat before. I've been at games that you've pitched in, but I've always been on the bench. So hopefully we will come together at some point this year.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
You'll probably take me to school, but it would be nice to nice to see what I've got up against a picture of your magnitude.
Play the knuckleball.
Thank you again so much for joining us. All the best for the game this Sunday, and all the best with the season that's still to come.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Jason, let's plug the Ball Caps and Bagpipes social media links. You've got linktree.com/capsandpipes. There's also our homepage at anchor.fm/capsandpipes. We can be found on Spotify, iTunes, pretty much all the usual digital distributors of podcasts. I think the iTunes and the Spotify are both on the Linktree, am I right?
It's all in there. You go to Linktree, we're all set. Everything's on there for every link there, and I need to update the YouTube one. So that's
I was going to say I've sent you the correct YouTube ones. That should be up there. The audio version of Saturday's show is out now, and the audio version of this one will be out by the weekend, just in time for everyone driving through our games. Thanks again to everyone who watched, and by the way, thanks so very, very much, especially for Saturday. Saturday's broadcast has over 600 views already on Facebook. Now we don't usually like to talk numbers and stuff like that, but that's absolutely outstanding for us. We started this podcast, we were hoping to get 80, 100 plays a week from people who were involved in the league going to their games. So for us to be touching these kind of numbers,
let's be honest, we were looking for 2, your mom and my mom, and that was that was on top of it. It was great. Anything above like ourselves was always going to be enjoyable for us, but like to have an opening weekend of the season where we've done a broadcast with that amazing panel, and we've had so many people watch it, whether it's for 5 seconds, 5 minutes, or the whole thing. Thank you so much for checking out Ball Caps and Bagpipes, and please do continue to do so. Share it far and wide, and
we're going to be here every week to talk baseball. We'll be back next Tuesday to review this coming weekend's games, and we'll preview no games on Father's Day, actually, is there? So we will just be doing a review and an interview, hopefully, this coming Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, you'll be said. I've got other things to do. So we've got a late one from the Cannons. Rory says Peter Rowe pitched well in his first Scottish League and first National League start there. Obviously, he got that in just in time. And of course, I'm doing the JG20 MVP campaign. So yes, so if you don't know, we're supporting the Josh Gibson MVP campaign. We are just interviewing the card artists there, but the judges are absolutely ridiculous. I'm not even going to say that. We've got a former Dodgers GM. We've got a TV show comedian. I mean, it's ridiculous. Anyways, so if you're on Twitter, the campaign's being launched there, and it's the Negro League Baseball Museum Art class. So it's, I always say this wrong. That was NLMB Art. And you find it there, and you can see the campaign there. So check it out there. We're trying to raise awareness for Josh Gibson and his family. We've got to try to get him renamed, the campaign renamed after him. We did work for them last year with the Negro League Museum, and we're now working with Sean Gibson and his family to hopefully get the thing there. We're hoping to push it for just another month because it's going to go to the All-Star game, and hopefully by then it will be announced, and we can say you did your little part to name the campaign after him.
Yeah, absolutely. NLBMart.com for all the information. And I think it's is it GG20 MVP or GGMVP20.com?
Oh, man.
I believe it's GG20.
I think it's hashtag JGMVP20. So, because it was supposed to go last year and it had to go this year.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's basically covered everything. Do you have any NLB Mart interviews coming up this week?
I do on Friday, but I don't know who it is. I haven't looked yet.
Tad's keeping me waiting. I'll see if I can join you for that one. I don't know what I've got on Friday, but I'll see what I'm doing, and I'll see if I can join you for that.
Yes, we'll find out. So,
all righty. Once again, Stephen Evans, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on opening day. Good luck with the rest of the season. Jason, always a pleasure. Everyone watching and who might listen to this afterwards, thank you so much for joining us on Ballcaps and Bagpipes.
Oilers.
All right, night, guys.
See you guys. Thanks for having me.
Let's see. Oops.